Hi, team. I hope that you're having a great day, and I hope you're really enjoying the tagging and coding of the interviews. I've had the chance to skim through some of the highlights that you've identified, and I have to say, well done. You're doing an amazing job, and I can really tell that you have a good grasp of the sort of information that is important and relevant for the project at this stage. So well done on that. And I thought I would take this opportunity to leave a small coaching or a mentoring note with some suggestions on how you can actually improve your coding skills. So I hope that this will be helpful. So I'm just randomly just picking two highlights that I saw that I wanted to talk about. So if we look at what this participant is saying over here, they're saying, I have a cross field with ethnobotany and I'm an herbalist and medicinal healer. So I do have an interest in the intersection of indigenous knowledge and botany, particularly with the Taino problem. And it sort of cuts off here. So I haven't listened to the full recording. But yes, you've coded it as Taino medicine. Well done. So you've spotted what the participant is directly talking about. They're talking about Taino medicine. One of the suggestions that I have is when you're doing these taggings and these highlights, to try and also take a step back and try to see what other connections you can draw and what underlying themes you can think of. And in this particular case, the participant, yes, with the lower level of theme that we can identify is what they're talking about directly, which means they're talking about Taino medicine. But if we think about some of the higher level tags that could apply to this quote, so this is definitely a need that the participant has. More specifically, we could say that it is an informational need. So they would have an interest, they would have a need to know about this type of information. So some of the other codes that we could attach to this highlight could be, we already have Taino medicine, so we could attach Taino information, we could attach needs, we could attach interest. And the same also applies for the following citation. So it talks about, the next one, it talks about language, the Taino language, and the participant being trying to learn the language for 4 years, and they actually talk about having an interest in someday accessing one of the language bots. So definitely the tag that really applies to this at first spot when you look at it is Taino language. So this is definitely relevant, but if we take a step back and think about some of the underlying themes and some of the connections that we can draw, we can again talk about the participant having a need. We could also talk even about the participant having a goal to learn the language. And this could also be considered a motivation for them to go on our website, the one that we will be creating. So there are a couple of tags that could apply on a higher level for this highlight. And this is actually the process that I use when I tag highlights and I go through qualitative data. And one of the advantages of doing it this way is that once we get to the stage of looking for groups of themes from all the highlights that we've identified across different interviews and across different sources of qualitative data, is if we have multiple tags attached, multiple tags that are relevant, I should say, to specific highlights, it will be a lot easier to try and spot patterns. It will be a lot easier to draw conclusions about overarching themes that are of importance. Because if we actually have just one or just a few tags attached to highlights, sometimes it's easier to overlook those insights because we will just not know where to look for or how to draw conclusions. So Yes, this is basically a suggestion of how you can go ahead and keep on coding the rest of the interviews. Thank you so much for taking the time to see the note. I hope that it was useful for the team. And yes, see you at the next team meeting. Have a good day.